friends, I'm Mrs. Gradney, and today we'll be comparing multi-digit numbers. Here's what you'll need for our lesson today. Let's get started. Grab your personal whiteboard. Now let's compare two numbers. Look at these two numbers. Say them out loud in standard form. 3010 and 2040. We're going to represent each of these numbers on our place value chart using place value discs. We're going to draw a horizontal line across our chart to make sure that we don't get our discs mixed up, and we'll represent the first number at the top and the second number at the bottom. So for 3010, we'll draw 3,000 discs. So 1,000, 2,000s, 3,000s, and 1 10 disc. Pause the video and draw place value discs now to represent 2040 at the bottom of your chart. Check to make sure you drew 2 thousands discs and 4 tens discs. Now, what is the name of the unit with the greatest value? Thousands is the unit with the greatest value. How would you compare the value of the thousands in these two numbers? Use one of these sentence frames to help you. You may have said 3,000s is greater than 2,000s, or you may have said 2,000s is less than 3,000s. Both comparisons are correct. Now, what would happen if we only compared the tens instead of the unit with the greatest value? You may have said that if we were to compare only the tens instead of the unit with the greatest value, that might make us think that 2040 is greater than 3010 because 2040 has 4 tens and 3010 only has 1 10. But that's not correct. You may have also said that in this case, we don't even need to compare the tens because the largest unit, the thousands, is already different. So, thousands is our largest unit, and 3,000s is greater than 2,000s. So that means 3010 is greater than 2040. When we read comparisons, we read them from left to right, just like we read a book. Let's read this comparison out loud. 3010 is greater than 2040. But guess what? There's another way we can write this comparison. What symbol would we use now? Now we'd use our less than symbol. Let's read this comparison out loud. 2040 is less than 3010. Let's try another one. Read these two numbers out loud. 43,021 and 45,302. Pause the video now and draw place value discs to represent each of these numbers, just like we did last time. It's important that anytime we get a new problem in math, not just today, but always, that we don't just automatically dive in and try to start solving it, but that first we take a moment to think about what we notice about the problem. So let's do that now. How is this comparison different from our last comparison? You may have noticed that in our last comparison, our largest unit was thousands, but in this comparison, our largest unit is 10,000s. You may have also noticed that in this comparison, there's the same number for the largest unit. Both of these numbers have 4 10,000s. Well, if the digits in the largest unit are the same, then how can we compare these two numbers? When the digits in the largest unit are the same, then we look to the next largest unit, and we can compare the digits in that place. So in this case, we would look to the thousands place to compare. Pause the video now and write down the comparisons for these two numbers in 2 different ways, and whisper read those comparisons to yourself. Hopefully you wrote 43,021 is less than 45,302, and 45,302 is greater than 43,021. Let's try another one. This time, we'll only use digits to represent our numbers, so make sure that the units in your place value chart are labeled. Now, so far, we've compared 2 numbers. How do you think it will work if we were to compare and order 3 numbers at a time? Would we think about it in a different way or in the same way as comparing 2 numbers? Let's give it a shot. Look at these 3 numbers. Read the numbers out loud and think about what you notice. $32,434, $32,644, and $32,534. Pause the video and write these numbers in your place value chart. Whisper the value of each digit as you write it. When you compare the value of these 3 numbers, what do you notice? You may have noticed that all 3 numbers have 3 10,000s and 2 thousands. Or you may have noticed that all 3 numbers have 32 thousands. The hundreds are different, so we can compare the hundreds. Pause the video and say which number has the greatest value and which number has the least value and how you know. Hopefully you said 32,644 has the greatest value because it has the most hundreds, and 32,434 has the least value because it has the least number of hundreds. We're comparing the hundreds because the larger units, the 10,000s and the thousands, have the same value. We can write the comparison of 3 numbers using our comparison symbols, just like we can write the comparison of 2 numbers. Pause the video and fill in the blanks to write the numbers in order from greatest to least. Here's my comparison. Now, when I'm comparing and ordering 3 or more numbers, I like to scratch them out as I write them down, like this. So in this case, I wrote down the number with the largest value, 32,644, and then I scratched it out. Then I wrote down the number with the next largest value, 32,534, and I scratched it out. And then that left me with the number with the least value, 32,434. That just helps me to keep track of which numbers I've compared and written down to make sure that I compare them all. Now let's read this comparison out loud. 32,644 is greater than 32,534 is greater than 32,434. How is comparing 3 numbers the same and different from comparing 2 numbers? I was thinking that no matter how many numbers we're comparing, we still start by comparing the largest unit, then the next largest unit, and so on. The thinking is the same, we just have to compare more numbers. Let's try another one. Look at these two numbers and think about what you notice. You probably noticed that these numbers are written in different forms. The first number is written in expanded form, and the second number is written in standard form. So then how might we compare these two numbers that are written in different forms? You may have thought about drawing place value discs for each number on the place value chart like we did earlier. Or maybe you thought about just recording the digits for each number on the place value chart. Another idea you may have had is to just write the numbers in the same form. Maybe write them both in standard form and compare. Pause the video to compare the two numbers and write the comparison in standard form. You may have written 730,028 is less than 735,008, or you may have written 735,008 is greater than 730,028. Both comparisons are correct. Let's move into the problem set. Your must-do problems for the Lesson 5 problem set are on the screen. Set a timer or watch the clock for 10 minutes and work on these problems. If you finish the must-do problems before the 10 minutes are up, feel free to try any of the other problems on the problem set as well. Today, we compared multi-digit numbers. Remember to check in with your teacher, and I'll see you next time for another Eureka Math lesson. Bye!